Hi, I'm Tracey Hynes, Manager of the Maternity Services Education Program, MSEP, at the Royal Women's Hospital here in Melbourne. Welcome to the Prompt Australia e-learning package for maternity services. We are thrilled to bring this to you. Using resources from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, the Department of Health, RANZCOG and Safer Care Victoria, this program has been adapted from the UK Prompt Interim e-learning package. As teams have adapted to new ways of learning during the pandemic, flexible learning models have been developed. This is to support the delivery of maternity education remotely and online. We recognise multidisciplinary education would ideally take place in person. However, in times when this is not possible, we aim to give you the tools and resources to continue providing obstetric emergency training. These resources have been designed for you to adapt to your local environment. Additionally, we have provided a selection of narrated presentations to give you guidance on the delivery of the content. The topics include the management of obstetric emergencies, the Safer Baby Bundle, intrapartum fetal surveillance, and maternal critical care in the COVID-19 setting. Other resources included in the package are supplementary reading booklet, an example program, evaluation tools and certificates. So there's plenty there for you to access. To access your Prompt Australia package, please contact the team at the Prompt Maternity Foundation. You can find additional guidance videos for the e-learning package on the Prompt YouTube channel. You can also contact us here at MSEP if you have any additional inquiries.
Welcome everyone to what I hope is the first of a series of videos and webinars to support you all the local training teams to get e-learning Prompt up and going in your own environments. We just really want to check in with you all, see how things are going, and we'd really like you to send any questions that you had about the program, and we'll try and address them in future webinars, etc. So look, all of us know that the evidence really supports local, multi-professional training, but very probably in person. But in the COVID pandemic, that's just not going to be possible. Now, the good news about this is I'm just going to do a very simple introduction, and Cathy's going to do some navigating through all the resources that are available. Neil's going to talk about the videos, and Sharan Athwal is going to talk about her experiences of implementing Prompt locally and some tips and tricks of how to do remote or virtual e-learning Prompt as best we can in the current situation. So look, thank you very much for sticking with it. Good luck with your training, and if you have any questions at all, we'd really like to hear from you, and we'll try and address those in future webinars. Thank you very much, and let's all stay safe.
Hi, my name's Cathy Winter. I'm the lead midwife for the Prompt Maternity Foundation. Hopefully I may have met some of you in person in our past Train the Trainers days that we've run, in those times when we could actually do face-to-face training, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year sometime. My task today is to navigate you through the learning package that you will hopefully have managed to download already, and share with you all of the resources just so that you make sure you're not missing anything as you put together your local programs. Okay, so the first folders you'll come to is 4 main folders, and I think it might be best if I just show you this in real time with me opening up the files myself. So the first folder that you would come to, you can see it says open this first. So if you open this one, you'll see another folder, number 1, that says open this first, and within that you've got a narrated presentation by myself, which is explaining exactly how to use the package. So if any of your training team aren't sure, you can just say, have a listen to the narrated presentation, and that will give you more of an idea. There's also some guidance notes as well, but I know it's easier to watch videos, isn't it, without a doubt. So coming out of that one, as I say, can't stress enough, look at that first, your whole training team, and then hopefully that sets the scene for all the resources that you can use. Then you'll see there's other information for trainers within this folder. You've got your example programs and certificates, you've got your example feedback sheets, and of course I say example because these need to be tailored to the program that you're going to be running in your unit. Okay, so you'll see that there's a supplementary booklet. It's designed to go with the example program we've given you, but you can see that this is for you to localize to match your program. And the key thing about it is that we ask that participants put 3 key learning points for every lecture, video that they're watching, just as a little bit of evidence that actually they've gone through the program. And then they can produce the booklet to you with their evaluation sheet, and then you can give them their certificate. So that's how you're getting some evidence that they have actually taken in all the package. The other thing there is a little bit of information on how you might record things, so whether you're doing Teams, whether you're doing Zoom, etc. And Sharan is going to actually talk about how they've been running their local programme in their unit. There's also links to all the different videos, so you'll find that there's a PDF which actually shows you all the different YouTube links to all the demonstration videos and the interactive videos as well. So coming out of that folder, and that's your Essential Trainers folder, then there's another folder, number 2, which is about course presentations. So there's a whole list there of all the different course presentations that you might want to use. If we've used algorithms in the course presentations, then what you will find is that there's an example algorithm as well. Clearly, if you don't use those algorithms, or if you have your own proformas, that's where you need to localize those and put them in yourself. Okay. You'll notice that whatever presentation you go into, there'll be a first slide, an introductory slide, and then there'll be a second slide which says message for the local training team. And you will have noticed that that is telling you localize this presentation and then remove that slide so that we know it's localized. So that's in front of every presentation, just so that it's reminding you to localize. Okay, so then if you look at the number 3 folder, you'll see that there's a demo video recordings of 8 of our different presentations. These are there, for you to just get an idea of what you might say if you were doing a narrated presentation yourself. The other way you could use them is if you have perhaps an anaesthetist who is going to do your maternal critical care talk but they're not available, you could use the pre-recorded one. Now, it wouldn't be localized, it wouldn't have all of the information that comes from your unit, but your facilitator hopefully can add into that. But it would be a way of still getting the presentation across rather than not doing it at all. So those are there as guidance, but also maybe useful tools for you to resort to if you're struggling with faculty, for instance. And then the 4th folder has got your interactive videos in it, and you'll see there's 2 different interactive videos, one for an APH and uterine rupture and one for preeclampsia and eclampsia. Now, as I say, Sharan is going to share with us how they've been running it locally in their unit, and Neil is also going to talk in more detail about the interactive videos, so I think that would be very helpful. I think that's about it. I mean, key things, as I say, is that go through the package with your whole training team, pick out the sections that you think are pertinent to your training, and then make sure that you gain feedback from your participants to see whether there's anything that you need to tweak and change, just as we do with our usual prompt training. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Neil Muchatuta, one of the prompt anaesthetists, and I'm just going to go through the interactive video scenarios that have made their debut in this interim package. Now, ordinarily we would recommend putting on live drills to help your team learn from a clinical scenario. However, as many units are not putting on live drills due to social distancing, we have produced 2 videos for you to use instead. Now, just as during normal prompt drills, the idea is, yes, to think about the clinical learning points, but to really focus on the team working learning points. After all, it's what happens with team working and human factors in one emergency that's generalizable to any emergency. So we've produced 2 interactive videos with this package, one dealing with an antepartum hemorrhage due to uterine rupture, and one dealing with severe preeclampsia. Now, we'll be using the antepartum hemorrhage video for the purposes of this video, but the principles are the same for both. Now, the videos are found in folder 4 of your package, the interactive videos folder, and each one is embedded into a PowerPoint presentation. In the folder, as well as the presentation with the videos, you'll also find 2 PDFs. One has a clinical algorithm, clinical and team working checklists for your attendees to base their group discussions around, and any additional materials your attendees might need or find useful. The other contains a facilitator's guide with instructions for running the session and for using the interactive videos. So when you open the presentation, you'll find that there are some introductory slides and then the video embedded in the presentation here. Now, each video contains pause icons which prompt the facilitator to pause the video and lead a group discussion about the ongoing emergency management. At the end of the videos, there are further pauses for the group discussion and feedback. Now, each interactive video session is expected to last around 30 minutes and is an opportunity for your multi-professional team to interact and plan the safe care of a mother going through an obstetric emergency. Now, the videos are designed to be used remotely via a platform like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, but could be delivered in a kind of socially distanced classroom setting. The attendees should be ideally a multi-professional team, and ideally the facilitators should be multi-professional too. The videos could even be added to your local e-learning platform with or without commentary from your trainers, and the participants could then write the answers to the pause points in the supplementary booklet. However, we have found that an interactive session is much better for a rounded discussion which kind of brings up insights from different members of the multi-professional team. Now, before the session, email or provide paper copies of the PDF with the algorithms and the checklist to your attendees. The checklists will provide a structure for the feedback of the team in the video's management of the scenario at the end of the video. You'll probably want each attendee to focus on just one checklist, for example, communication, so that each of your attendees are kind of bringing a different lens through which to view the scenario. Before the session, you'll also want to decide which platform you'll be using to show the video, such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and Sharan will talk about these a little bit later. And also test that your video and audio work on your chosen platform. At the appointed time, start the presentation and just go through the introductory slides. Once you reach this slide, start the video and pause the video at the pause icons to allow attendees to discuss the questions posed. The PDF Facilitators Guide gives discussion points you might choose to bring up. Just remember there will be time at the end for further discussion, so aim to keep these pauses relatively brief. And at the end of the scenario, there's an opportunity for the group to feed back on how the team in the video managed the emergency. When facilitating the feedback, start with an open question to the group, such as, how do you feel that went? Next, ask what was done particularly effectively. For structure, you might wish to request feedback from the attendees using each checklist in turn, so team roles and leadership, communication, situational awareness, and the clinical checklist. But best ask for no more than 1 or 2 key points from each person. Then ask, what would you have done differently? Again, this could be structured around the checklists. And next ask, how was the communication with the women? It might be worth thinking about how masks make communication harder, so eye contact and speaking clearly and concisely become even more important. You can then play the rest of the video, which shows some clips with examples of good and bad human factors and teamwork from the video. Then you can move on to some of the key clinical learning points, which you'll find in the next slides in the presentation. And guidance for these and the feedback discussion and so forth are found in the Facilitator's Guide PDF. So we hope you find these interactive videos a useful tool. We've certainly found that whilst not as effective as a real drill, they're great at getting a lively, educational, multi-professional interaction going. But do let us know what you think.
Hello, I'm Sharan Athwal. I'm one of the prompt obstetricians, and I'm going to run through how to organise and facilitate an interactive virtual prompt day using either Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Now, as most hospitals use Microsoft Teams, we're going to start off with that.
Using Microsoft Teams to set up a meeting is relatively straightforward, but you may want to split your group up into breakout rooms so that you can run virtual drills or sessions. Microsoft Teams is soon to launch an update which allows you to do this within one meeting, which will definitely make life a lot easier. In the meantime, there are 2 ways to split your group up into teams: by setting up a team within MS Teams or by setting up individual meetings for each drill or virtual room. Here you can see within MS Teams you can create a team and add individual members to that team. You can then set up channels within this team. Here I've called them Breakout 1 and 2. During a meeting, you can assign your attendees to these breakout rooms, and they can enter these rooms by clicking on the appropriate channel, entering the meeting. They can then move between the channels. However, to make this method run smoothly, your attendees need to be familiar with MS Teams and how to navigate between the channels. It can also be time consuming to set up a new team every time you do a training day. The other way of making breakout rooms is to set up individual meetings for each drill or session. You can then copy and paste the hyperlink into either a Word document or a table, as the example shows below, and send it out to the attendees prior to the session. Or you can insert these hyperlinks into the chat function at the time of the meeting. This approach is easier for the attendees, as they simply just need to click on the relevant hyperlink to enter whichever breakout room they need to attend. In the last few days since recording this video, Microsoft have just released an update to Teams with the long-awaited breakout rooms. We haven't had a chance to try it comprehensively yet, but we'll update you once we have. In the meantime, here's a link to some information about the new functionality. When an attendee is sent an invitation to MS Teams meeting, they can either join via the browser or via the app. From experience, functionality within Teams is better for the attendees if they link in through the app. They also have a better experience in terms of interactive options if they log into the app with their NHS email account, rather than logging in as a guest. To share a PowerPoint as a facilitator, you need to click on the Share Option button as indicated here. This may be in a different part of your screen. You can share your PowerPoint by sharing the window from which your PowerPoint is open. Make sure you click Include Computer Sound if you are playing videos, as this improves the sound quality. Unfortunately, sharing this way means that as a facilitator, you cannot see the MS Teams meetings window, and so can't see when people are raising their hands or messaging in the chat function. You can get around this either by having 2 facilitators on separate devices or yourself being logged in on 2 devices. You can also embed your PowerPoint into the meeting by clicking on the Browse button next to the PowerPoint option. This allows you to be able to still see your MS Teams window, but from experience there's often a problem in playing embedded videos when sharing PowerPoint in this way. So, common difficulties of MS Teams. You can't currently share audio when using a Mac, but Microsoft promised an update soon to remedy this. Some hospital computers can't play embedded YouTube videos, and so you may need to embed a video file rather than a link. Older versions of Windows PowerPoint can't play MP4 videos, so check your videos work on the devices you'll be presenting from. Different devices have different displays, so ensure your attendees know where their chat and hands up functions are. It's always best to have a practice trial run to ensure that these snags are ironed out before your training day.
So that was Microsoft Teams. Let's move on to Zoom.
On Zoom, it is relatively easier to set up breakout rooms. You need to make sure on your advanced settings that you've allowed the host to split the meeting up into smaller rooms. Within the meeting, you can then create the rooms and manually assign participants into these rooms. To share a PowerPoint, you need to click on Share Screen as shown in the green here. If someone other than the host is presenting, you will need to give them permission via Advanced Share options. Again, if you're playing videos, don't forget to click on Share Computer Sound and Optimize for Video to improve the sound quality.
I hope that was useful. Please let us know using the link below if you have any further queries or questions, and we'll be covering your frequently asked questions in another video in the near future. In the meantime, good luck and have fun putting on your virtual prompt days.
Thanks for all your ongoing hard work, and we look forward to continuing to support you with your education needs.